Welcome to today's episode of the Mindset Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Dial. If you have not yet done so, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss another podcast episode. And if you did not hear the good news, we are moving from 3 times a week to 4 times a week. So every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you will get a brand new episode of the Mindset Mentor Podcast. So make sure you tune in every single day that it goes live. Today, we're going to talk about scarcity, and we're going to talk about how to get rid of your scarcity mindset. So many people in this world hold themselves back because of what they think is possible in their lives. Not what is actually possible in their lives, what they think is possible in their lives. Simply because of what they think is possible and the way that they speak about themselves and the way that they think in their heads, they create an identity of what they think that they can do. And that's one of the things I love looking at, like some athletes or extremely successful people or people who build massive businesses, is the only real difference between them and someone else is the belief that they have in what they can do. So many people just close themselves off. They build this little teeny tiny box and they live in that little teeny tiny box and they said, well, this is all that I can do. And it's not based in any fact. It's just based in belief. And we think that our beliefs are facts because we believe them for so long. And we've been telling ourselves a lie for so long that we think that it's absolutely true. But in reality, none of your beliefs are true. They're just something that you believe. It's just a thought pattern that has been repeated over and over and over again. And so what happens is you build a belief in yourself of what you think is possible. And a lot of times that belief is really based on a lot of scarcity. And I'm going to give you a phrase that I hope that you remember forever. Scarcity means or, abundance means and. So life is not or, life is and. Nowhere is it written into the book of the universe where it says you can either have this or you can have that. You can have this thing or you can have that thing. That's scarcity. And that's not written to the fabric of the universe. It isn't. But you believe that it is. Oh, I can either be this or I can be that. Abundance is and. I will have this and I will have that. I will do this and I will do that. So let me give you an example of what I mean. I work, and you've probably heard me give this example before, but it's so true with so many people that I find that are business owners, but also parents. And so many business owners are holding themselves back simply because of this belief that they have. And so many of them stunt the growth of themselves, stunt the growth of their business, and stunt the growth of their family because they think I can either have a great business or I can be a great parent. That is a scarcity mindset. Or I can either have a great business or I can be a great parent. That's a scarcity mindset. Is it written into the fabric of the universe that that's true? No. Are there people out there who have incredible businesses and they're also incredibly dedicated parents? Absolutely. So if somebody else can do it, does it mean that it's absolute truth? No, it means it's a belief that you hold in your head that you act like is true. And so the real question is, where did that mindset come from? Who says that you have to choose? Why can't you be a great business owner and a great parent? Now, I know there's already some of you guys that are getting triggered by this, and I'm triggering you because there's cognitive dissonance where you're saying, whoa. No, but I know so many people who have been great business owners, but they've been shitty parents. Okay, that doesn't mean that that's the way it has to be. Oh, well, hold on though. You don't understand. My father owned a business and he was never around. Okay, that was what your father did. It doesn't mean that's what you have to do. You know, some people think that they have to work 100 hours a week to succeed. I thought that for years, and that's why I worked 100 hours a week for 3 to 4 years. Now I work less than I did then, but make more money than I did. And so there was a scarcity mindset of thinking I have to work 100 hours a week. That's the only way that I'll succeed. But there's a big difference. The thing that I've seen I have a friend who is an incredible father. He's also worth about $200 million at this point. So it's like, okay, well, that guy's really challenging the belief that I used to have of I could either be a great parent or a great business owner. But there's a really big difference. He plans out his life to be exactly how he wants it to be. He's one of the most successful people that I know, but he's also an incredibly great parent. And he plans his day out and executes on his day in a way that I've never seen somebody execute before. When he is working, he is fucking working. He's not checking Instagram. He's not scrolling on TikTok. He's not having side conversations. Like, he is 100% locked in. But when he's with his kids, and that's in his schedule, he is 100% with his kids. He puts his phone away. He never checks his phone. So he puts 100% of himself into whatever it is that he is doing. And he has an incredible relationship with his wife. He has an incredible relationship with his children. They travel all the time. And he is an incredible business owner with over 5,000 employees. How does that happen? If somebody else can do it, you can do it. Now, mind you, every time I see this guy in almost every, and I say like, except for when we've gone on a vacation or something like that, but every time I've seen him on a normal day, a normal working day, if we go get coffee in the middle of the day, he always has his journal, which is his planner as well, with him. He is so dedicated to making sure that he is on time. He does what needs to be done. And when he does something, he puts 100% of himself into it. So many people that I know that are business owners are like, I'm like, well, where's your schedule? They're like, well, I don't really have a schedule. I kind of just look at my iPhone sometimes. I'm like, well, can you expand yourself a little bit more to become better at what it is that you do and become better with your time management? He is a master of time management. And when he says, okay, the clock ticks over from this thing to this thing, I'm 100% in, I'm switching tasks. I'm switching from being a great business owner to being a great parent. If somebody else can do it, you can do it. And he would be the very first person to tell you he is not the smartest guy in the world. He actually quite often says he's not smart at all. So if he could do it, you could do it. And he would tell you if he could do it, you could do it as well. And so that's the thing to think about. Like, when you're working, are you 100% in, or are you, half in, half out? When you're with your children, are you half in or are you half out? And some of the most successful people that I know, also because of the fact that they can get 100% of their brain power locked in, they weren't born this way. They just got themselves to be this way. They could get more done in 2 hours than the average person gets done in 10. They're focused on what they're doing. They're getting it done. They're doing nothing else. They're not thinking about anything else. And they're making sure that they check off the boxes they need to. But when they're with the kids, they are 100% there. And so people think to themselves, the scarcity mindset, I can either have a great relationship with my wife, or I could be a millionaire and I could run a successful business, or whatever it is that you want to do. No, it's and. Where did that mindset come from? That you could either have a great relationship or be a successful business owner. Where did it come from? You have to start asking yourself these questions. You have to start challenging your beliefs, because we think, once again, I'm going to say it over and over again, we think our beliefs are true. Our beliefs are not true. They are just a pattern of thoughts that we have held for so long that we think that they are true. Maybe the reason why you got that was because you saw your dad working really hard, and he was working from 5 a.m. in the morning in his business to 5 p.m. and he came home and he was tired, and then he drank a beer and ate food and then went straight to bed immediately. And you saw your parents not have a great relationship because of that. Maybe you saw your parents' relationship fail. Doesn't mean that that's what you have to do. It just means, okay, I saw what it could look like. I don't want that car crash. I'm going to plan out my life to be different. I had a client years ago, and his dad used to work at, but he owned a bagel shop. And so he would be basically getting up and heading to his bagel shop at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And he would work until like 8 p.m. He'd come home and he would basically eat, have a couple beers, go to bed, wake up and do it all over again. And he never saw his dad. It was like he rarely ever saw his dad. And so he had this idea in his mind, like, if I'm going to be successful in a relationship with my wife and with my kids, I can't be a great business owner. Like, I can't even run a business. So he had this fear of starting a business. And I was like, no, that's a scarcity mindset. You're just thinking that your situation that happened with your dad is automatically going to be the situation with you. And that's not the truth. And you need to understand that. And so whenever you're doing something and you're starting to notice scarcity come up, the feeling of or, ask yourself questions. Is it possible that what I'm thinking might be false? Is it possible that when I'm at work, I can be at work? And when I'm with my girlfriend, I'm with my girlfriend. Or when I'm with my husband, I'm with my husband. Whatever it is that you might have, right? You're doing exactly what you need to be doing in the time that you're doing it. No, I could either take a vacation with my family or I could fix the car. No, take a vacation and fix the car. Now, some of you are going, oh my God, but I don't have enough money. Figure it out. Everything in this world is figure outable. Figure it out. Make yourself, if you don't currently have the money, figure out how to get the money. Figure out how to expand yourself, because a lot of times what's happening is when people start to get really triggered by these types of things, it's because they're keeping themselves in a box. I'm saying evolve yourself, expand yourself to think differently. You might not be able to do it right now, but you can figure out a way to do it in the future. What would you need to change in your life? What would you need to change in yourself to be able to have both of those in the future? To be able to do that in the future and not have to choose whether it's fixing the car or your son being able to play soccer or being able to take a family vacation. The universe is ridiculously abundant, like incredibly abundant. Look at nature. Nature is not scarce in any sort of way. Nature is the most abundant thing that exists, and we are part of nature. Scarcity only exists in the human mind. If you think about the stars and the galaxies and everything that's out there, your brain cannot even comprehend the abundance that's out inside of the universe. There's 1 septillion stars in the universe. That is a 1 with 24 zeros after it. There's 2 trillion galaxies. The universe is incredibly abundant. Your mindset is what is scarce. When you look at an apple tree, apple trees grow apples to reproduce. The seeds are inside of the apples. Does an apple tree make 1 apple per season? No, they make up to 800 apples to try to create 1 other apple tree. Abundance is natural. It's a natural state of the universe. Scarcity only exists in the human mind, which means that abundance is truth and scarcity is a lie. But we believe our lies. We are conditioned to believe our lies. We're conditioned to think that it's this or that. We hear from our parents scarcity and different thought patterns, and we think that that's what it is. We see our parents and we think that's different thought patterns. We see our uncles and how our uncles were working 100 hours a week and they ruined their relationship with their children and with their wife. And we think, oh, that must be truth. That must be what it's going to be. So I should never start a business because I want to have a great relationship with my children and my wife. No, that's just something that you saw. And you decided, you know what? That is absolute truth. It's not absolute truth. The only thing that is absolute truth in this universe is abundance. So if your mindset is thinking scarce, then you are thinking a lie, because the universe is incredibly abundant. But we believe the lie. We're conditioned to believe the lie. We're conditioned to believe it's either this or that. It's either money or it's happiness. It's either a successful business or being a great parent. You know, and I find myself all the time slipping back into old scarcity mindsets because I was raised poor. So I get it. I know what it's like to be there. I remember when I was buying my house 3 years ago. If you don't follow, if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen me at my house. I usually walk around and talk and stuff. I remember calling my best friend and I was like, hey, I've never spent this much money on anything, and it's kind of scaring the shit out of me. And I said, I literally said this to him. I'm noticing myself in a scarcity mindset. Can you help get me out of the scarcity mindset? So we had an abundance conversation because I noticed myself going into scarcity. And he said, think about waking up in that place. He goes, think about how inspired you would be to wake up there. And I was like, oh yeah, I'd be really freaking inspired. He's like, if you're really inspired, how much better would the quality of everything you create be? I was like, oh, it would be so much better if I woke up and I felt inspired and I felt better and I didn't feel like I was in a crammed little teeny tiny condo where I couldn't breathe and I had space and it was expansive. We started talking about all of that. And he goes, so we basically came to the conclusion of, okay, will it get me a little bit out of my comfort zone because I've never spent this much money on something? Yes. Would I wake up more inspired? Yes. And if I wake up more inspired, would I create better stuff for the world? Yes. And through that, would I then create more abundance in my life? Yes. So abundance creates more abundance. Scarcity creates more scarcity. So I still find myself slipping into it. And when I find myself slipping, I stop myself. You know, there's a different energy when you step into abundance. There's a different thought pattern. There's a different belief pattern that you have to step into. It is a different reprogramming, reconditioning of yourself. It's just different because scarcity is programmed into us, not on purpose. But if you have a scarcity mindset, you probably got it from your parents. You probably got it from your friends' parents. You probably got it from your aunts and uncles. You got it from things that you heard from other people, but things that you saw from other people. You can either do this or that, but you can't do both. Money doesn't grow on trees. You know, we've heard many of those things growing up. But it takes awareness to notice when you slip into scarcity to pull yourself back out of scarcity. Do you trust that the universe or God or source or everything has your back? Do you? Do you trust that it wants the best for you, that it's here to support you? If you do, then you have to understand that abundance is the natural state of the universe. You have been programmed to think something different. That's not your fault, but it is now your responsibility to fix it, unless you just want to stay scarce. That's up to you. That's completely up to you, and you could do it if you want to. But abundance is natural. And it is natural for us to be abundant. So we must become aware of that abundance, try to feel it more often, try to see it more often. And when we notice ourselves becoming more scarce, what we need to do is take a step back and say, is it true? Like truth written into the fabric of the universe that it is either this or that? Actually, it's not. Okay, so that means that it is not true. Is it true that I could figure out a way to expand myself and grow myself so that both of these two realities that I want can live in my reality? Yes. Maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you're not there yet where you can have a very successful business and a very successful relationship. But can you expand yourself and grow yourself to get there? Absolutely 100%. So then what you should be focusing on is becoming the person where both of those realities can be possible. And that's the best part about self-development. So that's what I got for you for today's episode. If you love this episode, please share it on your Instagram stories. Tag me in it. Rob Dial Jr., ROBDIALJR. Send me a message on Instagram. DM me. If you have ideas for other podcast episodes that I could do, would love to see them. And if you love this podcast, you'll probably love my new book that just came out last month. It is on the psychology of taking action to create the life that you want. There's a lot of science. There's over 73 scientific studies and psychological-based studies that are inside of that book. So it is based in actual psychological and scientific fact. If you want to get it, it is called Level Up, How to Get Focused, Stop Procrastinating, and Upgrade Your Life. It is wherever books are sold. So once again, it's called Level Up. It is by me, Rob Dial. If you want to get it, I would appreciate it. And hopefully it changes your life in some sort of way. And with that, I'm going to leave you the same way I leave you every single episode. Make it your mission, make someone else's day better. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have an amazing